right, so in addition to pushes, pulls, and vertical explosions, fourth category I like to throw in to workouts is what I have a combination of core and what I call prehab. So instead of rehab, you're preventing injuries. So it's a lot of things around your shoulders and core and hips. So I'm just going to probably show you about 15 or so different exercises I like to throw in, either as some of them as a warm-up to the workout to make sure my core, transverse abdominals, my hips and everything are warm, ready to go to prevent injuries, or sometimes they'll be part of the workout. So planks is a great one you're all probably familiar with, especially before I'm doing any sort of vertical explosion or squat. So just show you some different versions of the plank. So you can go here, regular plank on the elbows. Obviously another version of that is your side plank. So I like to either go I'll go 30 seconds straight, or sometimes I'll do 10 seconds, take a breath, let oxygen get to my core, and then I'll go up to a minute or a minute and a half every 10 seconds, taking a breath to make sure the oxygen gets in there. Also with your side planks, you have two options. So you want to make sure there's a straight line between your legs and your spine. Also, let me show you this way, you want to make sure that your elbow is directly underneath your shoulder. So you don't want to be out here planking, you want to be underneath, you want to get it directly under the elbow, under your shoulder. So on the side planks, you have two options. One, you can go feet on top of each other, or you can take that top leg and the center line of your spine can actually be where your toe and heel would meet. So you can go up like this and do your plank. Another option and kind of variety you can throw in is once you get strong with the planks, and that's pretty easy, you can add some adduction right to it. Okay, so I will generally go at least one, sometimes two sets of forward planks, and then the same amount of side plank, whatever I do forward. Another variation of plank that you can do, make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders. You can do just planks fully on your hands like this. Side plank would look like that, right? You want to have a straight line between your arms. Hopefully mine's pretty straight in that line of the spine. So another variation that I'll do is I'll go 5 seconds each. So I'll go 5 seconds here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'll go up on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to the other arm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll honestly continue to do that until I burn out and I can't anymore, or potentially go for a minute and a half. But work your way up. Maybe you do 3 on each side, and then you add each day as you get stronger in your core. So along with that, something I generally do, and I advise, especially to people that are working sitting down all day long, is hip thrusters, right? Or bridging. You might have seen you can do bridges in 2 ways. So both feet, your knees are almost at 90 degrees, and you're going to bridge up. So squeezing your lower back, squeezing your glutes, you're going to bridge up. Or you can do and also for this, I like to go 2 seconds up, 1 second hold, slow 2 seconds down, right before I hit the ground. So right before my butt touches the ground, I'll go back up, 1, 2, hold for 1, down 2. So it'll look something like this. Up, 1, 2, hold, 1, down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, hold 1, down, 1, 2. Now when that gets easy, you can start to do a single leg bridge. So your femurs should stay in line, but I'm going up on this single glute. I'm lifting and down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, hold 1. You can go either a flat foot or you could go on your heel. So either heel, like your bottom foot is either on your heel or down, doesn't matter. I'm going up, 1, 2, trying to keep my femurs in line, down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, down, 1, 2. So that's your bridging. Okay? Another one I like to do in the core kind of series is what I call a plank dumbbell crossover. So really good for both your shoulder injury prevention and also just to warm up your body. So in this one, I make sure my shoulders are above my wrists, okay? And you grab, and this could be a water bottle. It doesn't have to be a weight, right? It could be something, start off something very low weight, right? But I'm gonna bring it across. Now, as I bring it across, I don't want my whole body to I wanna try to keep my core, my body still, right? And using my core to balance. So I don't wanna lean too much with my body. I wanna try to stay in that core plank position, and I bring it over and over. Okay, so that's another one. A great one. These bands are from Perform Better. I think they're like $1 or $2. Great investment. And one thing I would recommend, especially to people who are sitting all day at work, or athletes who have any kind of soccer, basketball, lacrosse, football, cross, any kind of, really all sports, you change direction a lot of different ways, and your hips are a really important piece of that. So these 4 exercises I will generally do at the beginning of my workout as part of my warm-up, especially if I'm going to do any sort of vertical explosion, squatting, that sort of thing. But it's also great for just every person to do, maybe when you're done at work, sitting down for a long time to wake up your glutes. So 4 different ones you can do. First is called monster walks. Key points of emphasis here. On all 4 exercises, your shoulders shouldn't be moving. It should almost look like you're on one of those conveyor belts at the airport. You couldn't see below me. So I don't want my shoulders to be bouncing. I want to do my best to keep them stable. On monster walks, points of emphasis is that I'm going to keep my toes facing forward, right? Because I don't want my feet out or kicked in. And when I step, and I'll show you this way so you can see, when I step, this heel should go past this toe, right? So each time I step, the heel will surpass that toe. Now, from this direction, you'll see, as I step, the band wants to pull me in, but I don't want to take steps like this, right, where I'm coming in and then out. It's called monster walks because you should look like almost like a monster because you're staying out wide. You're forcing your hips to hold it out wide as I step, and make sure that you step each heel past the opposing toe. So that's monster walks. I would generally do 15 to 20 steps, and then as soon as you go forward, do the same thing back. Now my toe is coming past my heel, and same thing, watch the band, it doesn't come in, I don't allow it to come in, it doesn't pop in and then out as I step. I keep it wide and I keep my shoulders still. So that's number 1, monster walks. Number 2 is horizontal walks. Very, very simple. Same things, toes forward, that's the biggest key here. Most people start to open up when their hips get tired. So toes forward, shoulders still, and I go small steps. Okay, toes stay forward, and then once I go 15 or 20 steps in one direction, I'll go the other direction. Okay. So that's horizontal walks. 3rd and 4th are just mirror images of each other, so it's a split stance. So important here that your feet are shoulder width apart, but there's also quite a bit of space. You want to keep, I would say, about 10 to 12 inches of space between your front foot and back foot. So as I go, I'm going to go adduction and abduction. I'm going to go both directions with my right foot forward. So I'll go out and come in. Out 2 inches, come in. If you could draw a piece of chalk, your right leg would stay on that line and your left leg would stay on that line. Those 2 pieces of chalk lines would be about 12 inches apart. So I'd go out here, boom, and then I come back with my right foot. So I'm working both adduction and abduction in my hips, right, and trying to stabilize my shoulders. Then I would just switch, do the same thing. So left foot forward, everything's going horizontally, right, along the line. I'm trying to keep my shoulders stable. Once I go 15 or so steps that way, I'll come back the other direction. Okay, so that's your hip band exercises. Excellent, let me just peek at my list. Okay, a few other things. So L pulls are great. So you can get any sort of kind of band or pulley, and I call them L pulls or L pulses. So you want to get your elbows at 90 degrees, here are your shoulders, and you're just going to pulse back, just about a 2-inch pulse. Similarly how if you throw a baseball or football, that slinging motion, this is great. Injury prevention for your labrum and your rotator cuff. So you're here at full extension as far as you can kind of go back, and then you're just pulsing that last inch or 2. Okay, so I call those L pulses. In addition, L pulse is another great preventative exercise or warm-up for your shoulders is X pulls. So that would be simply here, and I'm making an X, right? Shoulder blades back and down, up. Now one thing I like to do, I like to add in wall sits to this and just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'll sit along a wall, 90 degrees at my knees, and then I'll go X pulls, right? Sometimes even when I'm watching TV or something, I'll knock out some wall sits and X pulls as I go up, right? So that's a great way to kill 2 birds in 1 stone. Now, the purpose of your core is actually to protect your vertebrae. So a great thing, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world in the NBA, Keith D'Amelio showed me this several years ago. Instead of, so planks are a great thing to resist motion and protect your spine as you're going through motion. These are called pulley stabilization. So if you have a pulley at a gym, great, you can use that. You can use another human. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the band, I'm gonna go out, and when I get here, the band's gonna be trying to pull me back in. Well, a partner can easily do that. They can just put their hands and they can be pulling you as you go out. So I'm gonna go slow, 5 seconds out, right? And I'm gonna hold out here because that's when the band is pulling me the most. Biggest thing here is that you're gonna wanna flex your arms and shoulders. Try to be as loose as you can with your arms and shoulders and think of your whole body as a piece, right? So this is what stabilization pulleys would look like. So I go out, I hold, 1 second, I come back in, okay? Out, hold, come back in. Trying to keep, so that's not enough resistance probably. This would be more of a challenge, trying to relax my arms as I go out, right? Come back in. I'm in a nice athletic stance, but I'm squeezing. You'll feel it on this side, you'll feel it in your obliques as they're resisting the motion for the band is trying to pull you out, right? The same thing, I'd obviously go, same thing on this side. Now you could also stretch yourself with the pulley being a lot higher, or the band being higher, and now you go up, right? And now the band's trying to pull me over, and I'm using all my obliques and a bit of my lats to do the same thing. So that's another one you can do. Also, a person could just stand on a chair, and they'd be pulling your arms as you go up, right? So that's stabilization. Okay, so we covered quite a few. Let me just get any last ones. Yep. So a couple more. First, this one, you know, most people are not going to probably have a body blade, but just something that I invested in for shoulder rehabs after surgeries. So you can do all sorts of stuff with this. My favorite is just to be stabilizing on a Bosu ball, a half ball, or just stabilizing in general. You can go here, right? In some gyms, I have seen these at some gyms, you can stabilize here. You can go straight out, right, and stabilize. You may have seen a lot of professional athletes using these. Sometimes they'll stand on a physio ball and balance and also go. So you can go here. The big thing is having your shoulder protected back and down, right? Even if you go out, having that shoulder back and down, okay? You can go up here, you can go up behind, right? But now I'm balancing my core while creating and absorbing that force and that motion here through the body blade. So that's another one. Recommendation after reading a lot of reviews, if you're gonna get a body blade, don't buy the cheap version. These tips fall off. Actually invest in the actual body blade. But not a necessity if you're just gonna be working out at home. So, a few more. With another type of band, so these are the same kind of bands I did the hip band exercises with, also from Perform Better, $2 band. These are great for injury prevention for your shoulders. Also, the swimmer muscles you see here, right? You can do two different things here, but the big thing on both of these is that your shoulder blades are back and down, and your lats are flexed. You're going to kind of hold with your lats, and those are going to be kind of flexed throughout the motion. So you can do a clock, which if I was going on the clock, you first off, like, make sure that I'm at 90, so my elbows are even with my shoulders, and I'm now pulling the band out, right? So I don't want my elbows to be outside. I want them to stay along the line, and I would go to 3 or 4 spots along the clock in this direction, and then 3 or 4 spots hit every time, on that clock. So that's a great one. Making sure in both these exercises you're not shrugging up. So there's a lot of space between your neck and your shoulders. So I'm going up, but everything stays, and I'm actually contracting. You should feel it here, and also in your shoulder blades. Another one is what I call itsy bitsy spider, because you kind of work your way up the wall. So once again, 90 degrees, backing down. I work my way up the wall, and then 2 inches back up. But notice as I go up, I don't shrug up. I go as far as I can while keeping that space between my ear and my traps, right? So it's another great one to work your way up and back down. It's another one of my favorites. Okay, last few. If you have a slider, furniture slider, that's perfect. I can't find mine, so I'm gonna use an envelope. So 2 different really challenging things for you if you want to get a really good core workout. First is a bit of a push and core. So you're gonna get in a plank position, right? And you're just gonna walk forward and back. So you can choose the distance, right? Should be sliding, right? You're gonna walk forward. Okay, keep trying your best to keep your wrist underneath your shoulders, and then you'll go a certain distance. However far you can go, work your way up, you'll work back. Okay, so that's a really tough one. Another version of that is crab walks. So now I've got my heel on the slider. Very important my hands stay out, right? So I go up, I'm gonna bridge up, make sure my hips are up, and I walk forward, right? However long distance you can go, right? And then same thing, same distance back. Okay, so this is forcing. You want to make sure your hips are up and forcing you to use your body in a pretty complex way. I think I'm going to show you one more. Yeah, one more kind of combination. So this one's called farm walks, and great for just kind of a full body workout. You can grab a weight and experiment with different sizes, or weights are a different weight. But here, like a farmer would carry a jug of milk in the old days, you're going to carry it, but the focus is squeezing your core. You're going to take smaller steps, which challenge you, and you want the weight to stay still. So your shoulder blades are backing down, core is flexed, right? And you would go back, however far you can go. You walk back, trying not to let the weight move, right? And then you would do the same thing on the other hand. So you'll feel it in your core, you'll feel it in your obliques, right? And so one other thing you can do as kind of injury prevention, and I'll just also, along with farm walks, is this your shrugs, right? So that's also part of kind of vertical explosion, right? If you're going to do some sort of explosion movement, but I also throw them in there sometimes with farm walks as an additional one to kind of prevent injury, strengthen my traps, strengthen my shoulders as well. That is your prehab and core section.